What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to T3G. My name is Dalibor, and this is kind of Tech Tuesday. I don't know, Tutorial Tuesday. I'm really incessantly going to keep trying to make it an alliteration, and I think we all just need to kind of deal with that. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the top 3 tools that I basically ignored for ages that could have made my life easier. The title will be much more clever than that, though. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, the reason I've got a podcast episode up, is to show something that's very basic. Now, for years, between Hottest and myself, we kept kind of almost like a competition going, where between the two of us, we would try to figure out who had the better sync, right? We'd go in and we'd move by 1 second the other way and, try to figure out the exact synchronization, when in fact, there is a built-in tool. Now you can see here, we're going to zoom in. You can see here, this is definitely not synchronized. They're not lined up at all. We'll expand these to show off the difference. I'm going to move it over, give it some space, one more space, I think. And then this is the synchronize tool, something that I don't know how long it's been around, but I just recently, I heard it mentioned in a video, and then I didn't do anything about it for weeks. And then one day I was editing a podcast and I'm like, oh, synchronize. Wonder how well it's gonna do. So I chose audio, and depending on the length, can take a little bit, but once it's done, a perfect sync. Ridiculous. Now, it's not infallible, but this is gonna save you a ton of time. There have been occasions where it's a second or a half second off, so then you just got to do it manually anyway. But to at least, let's even say 50% of the time, eliminate that whole process out of your workflow and just be, oh, it's synced, we can move on with our lives. Yeah, definitely something I wish I had known about sooner. It took me quite a bit of time to find out about that one. Number 2 here might be something that some people know about, but other people don't. I honestly don't know how prevalent it is. It was something, again, I was watching a video, it was somebody talking about how they edit their workflow, and then they did this, and I was like, when was that a thing? How did that, never knew about it. But anyway, what it is let's say you're editing, and you're editing this, and instead of using the B command, now this is on Windows, the B shortcut will pull it all to the cut. If you just say, all right, I'm just gonna normally cut it, right? Now, instead of having to select and drag, what you can do, and this is pretty recent to me, is select the blank space and hit delete, and it deletes the blank space, perfectly joining the 2 clips. Yeah, didn't know that was a thing. I have found myself using that way more often than I'd like to admit. Whether I use the wrong tool to trim the clip or just I placed it in the wrong spot, it saves time. And again, didn't know that was a thing. Now, the last tool, and potentially the most important tool out of this set, is the Lumetri panel. Now, if you know about color correction and color grading in Premiere, you know that you can go and inside the effects, there it is. You can go and search for Lumetri, and you can choose a look and start there, and then if you do that, let's say you drop it on there, and then you're going to go and do all the stuff inside the effects controls. Now, the alternative, and I found this to be much more useful, is to actually just open the Lumetri color window, and this is window itself, and you can do the sequence. You can do the master file, and that's key. We'll talk about that in a second here. So if I select this file and I go to the master, and let's say we're just pick a look, and we're just gonna go blue moon, right? It cleared up, blue everything, right? But I selected here, but you'll notice this also now, the first clip, which was part of the original clip, and that's kind of where this comes into play. You're adjusting the color grading on the entire clip. So if you have something like a podcast, if you have something like a long form video where everything is one long clip, you can color grade all at once without having to go through individual clips or creating an adjustment layer or anything like that. So much more useful. I didn't even know that was a thing. And it saves a ton of time. Again, a lot of this stuff I feel like people have known about, and this was another thing that somebody was using in a video, and I'm like, really? That's a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. Because you can this is my favorite part right here. You should be like, oh, real quick, curves, boom, high contrast. We can move on with our lives. If all you want to do is punch the contrast up a little bit, there it is. Move on with your life. What? Dude. Yeah, this is, again, the only reason my recent videos have had color grading of any sorts is because it's become this easy. It's become just like, oh, quick, boom, I can apply a look, I can adjust the values to it and move on with my life. Instead of having to apply an effect, go to a thing, you just do it. And it's quicker. I don't know, everything that saves time, especially when you have a long edit, it's a lifesaver. It is a lifesaver, because at some point, if you have a long edit, man, it gets to you. So anything that can save time, those precious seconds and moments, I think that just helps out. I think that makes the whole process better. That's going to be it for this one. If you don't know, the Tangents podcast is on another channel, and you should check that out. Ton of talk, ton of movie talk, ton of social talk. This is talk, a lot of conversations. Me and Hottest, we're actually going to do another one this week. It typically comes out weekly, although last week we had a little bit of a snafu with scheduling, so we're not able to get one recorded. But we've got one coming out this week, and presumably every week after that, barring any sort of unforeseen occurrences. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Thursday.